Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I've got no clue what time you're watching this video, but it is 5:51 p.m. on Sunday over on the East Coast. The sun has risen over here, just coming on close to 7 a.m. Futures are going to open up during the course of this, so I will move over to that after futures get opened up. Starting you out here with financial juice. And again, if you trade from a laptop, which I highly do not recommend unless you've got that HDMI cable plugged into a TV or two so that you've got bigger screens, or you're trading off a PC, which again, you should have TVs instead of monitors for your monitors. Here we go, starting all over. Tick Strike, you want to have this on right there. Tick Strike, you can listen to the news over on Financial Juice so that you can listen to the market move. It will take away a lot of the anxiety, which greater than 90% of people that trade regularly have anxiety issues about getting into trades and FOMO. This will eliminate a lot of that, but then again, you're a human being and you're going to do what you're going to do. So quickly, Monday, very quiet. 2-year note, 6-month, 5-year, 3-month, all auctions that are taking place on Monday. Not much on the schedule. Wrong one over here. On Tuesday, interesting because you get the U.S. durable goods, housing price. Obviously, interest rates are much higher than they have been for quite some time. At 10 o'clock, you get the consumer confidence number for the month, the 7-year auction, and that's it for Tuesday. On Wednesday, you get the GDP estimate. And more importantly, as you move into the rest of the day, on Wednesday, we get the crude oil inventories and we get a few Fed heads that are speaking right around lunchtime. Meaningless, absolutely meaningless. G20 meetings are going to be there on February 29th. Hopefully Biden doesn't shit his pants again. But more importantly, there on February 29th, we get the PCE. The PCE, and especially the fixed number where they take everything out that actually matters and go with the core PCE, is on February 29th, which is the end of the month. And I'll go over that. And PCE tends to follow CPI. You already experienced CPI going back 2 months ago, or 2 weeks ago. Again, a couple of Fed heads, a couple of bill auctions, and then March 1 is when we go into the new month. The new month being February has ended. We are going into March. Again, a couple of Fed speakers during the course of the day. They mean absolutely nothing anymore because the only thing that matters is NVIDIA. So let me move over here quickly to run through. Well, we'll start here with Friday. I kind of did everything that I could do to get you prepared for Friday, as I do every day. On Friday, over on the spreads, 5105, 5100, the same 5105, 5100 I had thrown out well outside of the safe edge on the post NVIDIA earnings day of Thursday, but because it was not the quote unquote safe edge, it was just passed on despite the 50 cents credit. Safe edge was broken on Thursday as we got that euphoric move off of NVIDIA. And anyway, the 5105, 5100 calls at the open, 270, made it up to 350 really quick there, 9:36 in the morning. And as you know, they closed full credit as the SPX closed 5088.80 plus 1.77 points. So again, Tim sucks. We didn't get that red close. We closed almost plus 2 points. You did get a red close over there on the QQQ, but who's actually counting that stuff anymore? But again, going back onto this and just looking here over onto Friday, I participated in the newly created Zero DTE Addicts Room, which started 2 weeks ago because of some misses that I'll go over here. And yeah, I got into the $6, 5100 puts because again, 5105, 5100, and discussing that 5080 level down below to be tested. Took a little bit more than an hour, 250%. Finished, done. See you later. Goodbye. Oh yeah, this is Glacier. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. Brayon with Tim Cook at the Super Bowl. But going back 2 weeks ago, so at the start of the week, and how we're talking about OPEX week, February 16th, right after the Super Bowl, had that whole John Madden, Harry Carey thing going on. And as we went through, again, got into the March 1 IWM puts, you remember, going through the emails here, preparing you for CPI tomorrow morning on February 13th, another email that went out. And this was why we had to create the Zero DTE Addicts Room, because for years we always had it where if you're an active trader and you're active and you're in the chat, the regular chat room was what was appropriate because we had been doing that for years. And now, you've got to be included. You can't be offended or anything like that. We had to create the new room because when I was discussing about the 50-30 puts for that day, February 12th, again, it was that no one was going big into it, but that's the area that we were talking about. And they wound up going from $1.25 down to 65 cents, up to $13.60, closing at $7.45. And everybody was, oh my God, what did I miss? The very next day was the check your IWM puts because CPI had come out and you had your big CPI drop. On CPI day, and again, this was why there was no chitty chatty. Don't want anybody chatting in the Zero DTE room. That's what the main chat room is for. The 49:45 calls over there late in the afternoon on that whatever day it was, 65 cents dropped down to a nickel. So I was wrong. And there it was. You got your spike up there to, I don't know what it was, $8, something like that, closed at 630. So again, only 1,000%. Again, you had your update there about the March 15th, April 19th QQQ puts at the time. And on Thursday, there we go. On Wednesday, we'll go back to that. Plus 1% days have been following minus 1% days, which was the day after CPI. And again, going back into that Thursday, we missed 1% by 18 cents on Wednesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. And again, I don't have the screenshot for it, but because we know that we were going to be closing up there, whatever time it was, 45.95 calls plus 1,900%, only 1,900%. IWM email went out because they were repeating. I decided to go into the April 19th 199s on, that was, what day was that? I don't know, Thursday, Friday. Friday, I wasn't there because Friday I went on that Valentine's Day trip out to Borneo, completely eliminated the internet. No electronic devices whatsoever for better part of 3 days. At the beginning of last week, I started you out with the Tuesday watch and get ready for a rug pull. And as that rug pull went through, because again, we had gotten a great move. The only stock that I discussed in the alert room the entire week, other than what we normally do with SPX, QQQ, IWM updates, was the Walmart trade. And you guys saw the Walmart trade. The Walmart trade wound up going for, what was it, better than 500 points. Futures have just opened. I will pull over here and yeah, you've got the NASDAQ fractionally down, the Dow fractionally down, the ES fractionally down. But for now, there is no rug pull in place, and there shouldn't be because it's Sunday night. Again, just going back real quick through everything, updating you about that McDonald's, and we'll continue to talk about McDonald's. NVIDIA earnings day being there on Wednesday. And this was where it got really interesting, because, like I said, we went down to minus 1%. All prior minus 1% days have gone back plus 1%. I would not smoke that crack and be looking for a 1% day, but I would be looking for a green close, and the green close being 49.70, 49.75, bullish put credits. And again, going back onto that was where the 49.70, 49.75s, you got 400% on a credit spread. So the Tuesday rug pull, the Walmart earnings, the McDonald's setting up, the going into NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is going to tell us what's the truth, what's not the truth. On Wednesday, because I was looking for that better than 49.75 close, right there, end of the day, 3:30, inverted head and shoulder SPX 1 minute, supports the whole idea of it, 49.70, and they were down here at what, 30 cents, I think is what it was. Then went up to $12. So I was wrong with what I discussed with a couple of you over there on the one-on-one calls during the week about how you trade these zero DTEs when you're employed at a job. You can't be watching this stuff. $100, man. Three contracts. No, because you're 3:30 in the afternoon. You got 30 minutes left in the day. As right as I might be about the data, you don't go into this with a 10 grand trade. But again, $100. You're up here. You wind up closing at 11.57. Ran to 12.10. SPX. You don't need to close the trade. Trade closes out at zero or at cash. Converts 30 cents. 3 contracts. $100. Over here, 11.57. 3 contracts. 11.57. It's $3,300 off of $100. And there it was on Friday, your update about, again, we don't want to share that with anybody. Friday, 15th out of 17 weeks are green. We've had 2 red weeks since the Israel invades Gaza bottom. And congratulations, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your party, because we have just over the weekend had the 2-year anniversary of Russia invading Ukraine, which was the exact bottom that we got there when we were on the October 27th Israel invades Gaza lows. Just like in 2022, you got your bounce off of that. And 2 years now. Congratulations to all of you for sending your hard-paid tax dollars over to President Zelensky. So, looking at how we are and how we had a big plus 100% day or week because of NVIDIA, 49.89.32 was our open, 50.88 was our close, 99 points up for the 15th of 17 green weeks, 5111.06, above that 5100 that I've discussed, 165-point range. And I haven't looked at the month of February, so we'll do that together here. And the month of February range has now eclipsed, where's the lows? 49.18. Yep. We have traded a 200-point month, 193 points. That's it. 193 points top to bottom. This will be our smallest month in the entire move, more importantly, but this is a very, very, very small month. We are up 24% from the October bottom, 1,000 points. We are up 34% off the March bottom, 1,300 points, because March was fractionally lower than it was in October. And from the October 2022 bottom, we are up 1,600 points, 46.38%. So it looks as if it's euphoric, but again, for a bigger, broader, wider view, I've shared it many times. You are being fed Gemini AI results, and that's what you're smoking right now. Gemini AI came out last week, eliminated white people from existence. Google Gemini, show me a picture of Hunter Biden. It doesn't get better than that. I mean, I saw this Saturday morning and I laughed for the better part of 13 minutes. That's just, again, so anyway, I will not waste time because I know you guys have so many more important things to do than get involved with how the stock market works. Last week, SPX, looking at the week, plus 2% when we topped out there at 50.38. Again, that 50.48 is significant. 50.38 having been the top over there, 50.38 being the top over here of this major 57-point gap after having that minus 1.84% decline last week, where I could not continue to stress how oversold we are and how the charts were all set up for NVIDIA to come out with a report and face rip the market. And that's exactly what you got. And I did catch I caught two pikers who decided to post in the room after NVIDIA's earnings their major wins in overnight calls that they never ever mentioned to anybody. And coincidentally, these guys, they can't even get their monthly payment to go through, but they're big fucking players. So 3.33% move up to that 51.1106, above that 5136. And as you saw there, very, very cleanly, 5100.36. No, we no like you. 5100.36. No, we no like you. And boom. Wound up closing fractionally below that on Friday. That is going to be your safe place to be for the course of the week. What I've already pulled up here is 3 different options for you if you want to get into a trade for February 29th and you don't have the ability to monitor it. And there are 3 different spreads. SPX 50.95, 50.90 calls, bearish calls looking for a close on February 29th below 50.90. These will get you somewhere in the range of around $2.50 tomorrow morning. You want to get a little bit more aggressive? Yeah. The 50.70, 50.65 calls for Thursday, February 29th, looking for a close below 50.65 on Thursday. These will get you better than $3. $3, $2 risk. It's 150% on your money. Now, okay, big man. You got some big balls, huh? You want to make some real money? Thursday, February 29th, 50.55, 50.50s. These are going to get you somewhere close to around $4. $4 credit with $1 risk. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that this is a 400% potential credit on this. And when you go back over to the SPX and what we've discussed, 50.38, wrong one, apologize, 50.38, 49.82 is, okay, 50.39, 49.82 is your gap. And where do you think we are going to be magnet to? Right there, right in there. However, I wouldn't take the stupidity of looking for a deeper credit spread when you can get $4 trading right there at 40.48, which was your previous all-time highs until you broke it here on Thursday morning. So a break below 50.50 and anything into that gap, as far as it goes with the credit spreads, $4 you can't complain about. Over onto the QQQ, again with the QQQ, this plus 4% move, 4.5% move, was one of the biggest moves that you've gotten on the QQQ since this entire thing began when Israel invaded Gaza. We had off the beginning part of it with that first move to 375, yeah, it was a 15% move up into the end of November, Thanksgiving. We had an 8% move into as we went into Christmas. Since that time, it's kind of slowed down a little bit. And here we are now with having had this plus 4.5% move last week. So we zoom it out so that we can see the bigger, broader picture. And as you see, you've come up here right to your 439, which was your highs over here, to that big 438.38. And rejection city getting swatted down as if you were Spud Webb trying to dunk on Shaq. Ain't gonna happen. So again, same thing. Your big gap over here, 434, 426. 431.61 is the short-term support level for various reasons, even though it is inside the gap. Should you break down below that 431.61, buckle up, Buttercup, because the table pounding April, May QQQ positions are going to be greener than if you, I won't even say it. So, fill in the blank on that. IWM, quick view on that. And again, how IWM down here hasn't filled this gap down here from, I'll look back and zoom out, but again, you haven't filled your gap over here from the big CPI drop. Had a nice move there on Friday where, oh my God, it looks like, IWM's actually got a chance. And then you wind up coming back here after hours and going back to being red on the year, back below that 199.40. And for the better part of a couple of weeks now, with this big major move happening here in the middle of December off of the February 14th with the CPI move on a 15-day, you're trolling. You're trolling all of this. Where was this? February 14th. Sorry, not CPI. This is February 14th. This is CPI over here. Zoom out a little bit wider, and again, you're trolling. You're going literally nowhere. Zoom out on a 90-day, and again, you can see IWM is doing nothing but churning. You've got your 204 up above. You've got your 195 down below. And we are going absolutely nowhere with IWM, which tends to be the leader when you have any kind of major movement that's taking place in the market. Right now, we're doing nothing. So I leave you with the VIX. And the VIX having zoom out, wide view, higher lows, higher highs, continuing since Israel went into Gaza October 27th. Right now, we're in a little bit of a ping pong because we're holding the 50-day moving average and we're failing above the 200-day moving average, having broken the 200-day moving average twice. But with the VIX, again, it all comes down into where are we? Take the 400-day off of this. We've got our big gap over here from NVIDIA. This gap unfilled. Again, having been talking about being oversold on the major charts, you see how VIX came up here into the 16s, and then you got failed. And yeah, for the ones that are all looking for that VIX crush on Friday, you got your VIX crush on Friday. You also got your 100% on the 5105, 5100s over on the spreads. You got your VIX crush. You also got your 250% trade over there on the 0 DTE 5100 puts. But you got your VIX crush. The VIX down here at 1387, 1339, touching into this 50-day moving average. You're in a very, I can't even come up with the words this early in the morning, but things do not look bullish despite having a VIX down into this low range. The VIX tends to fall off, and you had NVIDIA as giving it a reason to. And what you're doing here is literally giving it a push, a little bit of a dip, a bit more energy for the push to the upside, a little bit of a dip. And it's building that momentum as we swing into this now very far extended time seasonality window of how we're ending February, now going into March, having just eclipsed the full moon, which took place over the weekend, and heading into the new moon of March 10th with a pretty big fucking schedule. March 1, the U.S. government shuts down. March 6th, the Beige Book release. March 7th, Jerome Powell testifies. March 7th, fuck Joe Biden starts stuttering and shitting his pants while giving the State of the Union address. On March 8th, we get the employment situation report. On March 11th, the emergency BTFP bank liquidity is over with. March 15th is OPEX. March 20th is the FOMC meeting, and March 20th is the quarterly VIX-piration. Now, March 15th is quarterly OPEX. It is not your regular OPEX. This is where the big boys are at. Now, going back into what we're looking through here of how we keep track of this record of what's going on with the markets. We look back here on the last day of January. The last day of January, January 31st, the market shit its pants. We had a 25-point gap down. We closed down 80 points. On the last day of December, the market shit its pants, you could say, because of the way things were going. Fractional little gap down, we closed down 13 points. On the last day of November, nothing. We did put in the low. We did put in the low down there at 45.37, but we wound up coming back and closing green on the day. On the last day of October, can't really look at that because you had the Israel invades Gaza bottom the Friday prior to that, which was October 27th. So can't really look at that from a judgment point of view as the end of the month because of how oversold and how much of a bounce that we were already expecting. So we're coming into the final Friday of the month here on Thursday, the 1st of March, and because everybody is brainwashed about the amount of liquidity that comes into the market at the very beginning of the month, I heed you to the full moon. Full moon and how it works. You know what? We'll pull up the chart because it's a very interesting subject that not many people have looked at. So the full moon. Full moon is something that people discuss, very few people, about how coincidentally you will get a major top, major bottom that will coincide with a full moon. We just did 51/11/06 on Friday. Our previous full moon was back here at the end of January, and we had a little dip. Our previous one was back here at the end of December, and we had a little dip into the beginning of the year. November was a fuckwit. Period. The end. Same as it was back on 2021. Come over here on October, your full moon was your bottom. Come over here into September, your full moon, beginning of October, your full moon was your bottom. Same thing over here with September as your top. And again, you can zoom out as far back as you want to go, as many months, as many years as you want to go, and you will start to notice how the full moon, especially when your regular normal charts coincide with a this is fucking way too low or this is fucking way too high, ease of anxiety for your view of where we should be expecting to be headed to. So coincidentally, having hit this trend line, which is pushing up here, wouldn't take much to be expecting that you're going to see your low. Now, going back to how this full moon thing works. Full moon is a plus or minus 3 trading sessions kind of thing. So the full moon being on Friday, the full moon window began over here on February 21, 1, 2, 3 days before the full moon, and it will close 1, 2, 3 days after the full moon. So 49.46 and 51.11 are the pivots. We don't know if the high or the low is in for the full moon yet. After we get through the window here on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we will have our specific full moon, whether that's the 41.11 or that's the 49.46. Again, we don't know until we get through that window. When you go over and look at this from any kind of analysis whatsoever, you're leaning stronger to 51.11 being your full moon top. A break below 49.46, excuse me, a break below 49.46 as we progress into this cluster of fucks that are lined up for the month of March, we can then start to measure the distance and measure our time as we head into March 10th, March 10th being the new moon, the next full moon not being until March 25. So a lot on the table, but a very ease of view as we go into this week. Here, throw it out. You're right there at the spreads. 50.95, 50.90 for February 29th. Want to go with March 1? Go for it. 50.70, 50.65 for February 29th. Want to go over here onto 50.55, 50.50. Again, it's better than 50.50 odds, but that 50.50 break, $4 credit, 400% on your money. More importantly, because you've got $1 credit or $1 risk, $4 credit, this spread drops down to $3. You're up 100% on your $1 risk. You've made $1 on your dollar. Don't need to take the full ride if you're not experienced enough to be able to do it. But trust me when I tell you, I'll tell a guy who's got no food in his refrigerator and has a couple of kids, dude, you're going to get full credit come Thursday, February 29th. So enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend, and more importantly, as like I said here, this Google Gemini, show me a picture of Hunter Biden, had me in stitches. How they are using AI to redo music, it's just fucking classic. Enjoy this one.
If you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I've got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. If you got some dough, 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. My whole asshole. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. I got the route patrol on the cat patrol. Those that wanna make sure that my casket's closed. And my trunk is raw. In my rear view is the motherfucking law. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Bad for you, son. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. But a bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. 99, oh. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa.